Hello and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. You know, I recently had a friend get a face tattoo of his favorite Star Wars character. You should have seen the look on his face. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Star Wars the Deck Building Game Clone Wars Edition. We'll get back to the review in just a moment. I want to take a minute to ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson PhD, where we talk about history, books on history, military history. I even post some of my lectures for my classes on there. Please check that out. Please subscribe to that channel. And now, back to the review. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to go ahead now and take a look at Star Wars: The Deck Building Game Clone Wars Edition. Really not going to get into the rules because they're essentially the same as the Star Wars deck building game, the original edition is. I guess that's what we're calling it now, the OT.
Original.
So anyway, it's essentially the same game. You do have the only real kind of difference, and it's not a huge difference, is you have your own exile piles. You don't just have a common exile pile like you did in the other version. You each have your own, and certain card effects may allow you to get to return cards from your exile pile to your hand or your deck or what have you. There are also rules in here for combining this game with the other game or mixing and matching. There's rules for kind of a 2v2 game with both decks. So there's a lot of variation here. We haven't done any of that. We have played the game tonight. We played the game 3 times. Let's see. The first time I was the Separatists and you were the Republic, and then the next 2 times I was the Republic and he was the Separatist. And who won?
The Separatists. No, the Republic.
The Republic.
Separatists never won a single game.
Yeah, the Republic won all 3 games. But critically, let's just ask you, first of all, what are your thoughts on the big Star Wars deck building game, Clone Wars Edition?
You know, the Clone Wars edition, I like the Clone Wars. I think I know the characters in the Clone Wars edition a little bit better. So thematically, it kind of helps me out a little bit better. I have the original. I don't have this one. And I think it's a fantastic game. I think one of the biggest things I like about this game is it doesn't, every time we've played this, whether it was original or this Clone Wars, every time we've played it, it came down to the last turn of the game. Mm-hmm. When one of us wins, if we wouldn't have won that turn, the other person was going to win that very next turn.
Every game tonight, that's what it felt like for sure. Then it's very often that is the case with the other edition.
I mean, we had, I think it was the second game tonight we played. When I was playing the Separatists for the first time, all the cards in the center row were coming out for me. You were getting nothing. It looked like I was totally running away from it, and then you end up winning right.
Yeah. Well, and part of that too is this game, and I know when the game first came out, there was some criticism because people didn't, I guess, see it or appreciate it. And then now it's becoming more obvious the more you play it, but this game has some killer combos. This game has some cards that play off of other cards so well, and you're reading the text, you're paying attention to the text, and you can just do some amazing things, get some massive attack points or resource points or force points. To me, the best part of any deck building game is the combos.
Third game we played, how much damage did you do me in the final round?
I did. I needed 1 point of damage to kill him to win the game, and I did 21 attack points of damage on that last one.
He didn't blow up my base.
Well,
I think he drove through my base.
Anakin Skywalker. But you know what? You know one thing, in that last game, you were not coming after me on the Force, like, hardly at all. And so I was able to keep the Force on my side pretty much the whole game.
No, well, the thing I found is in the game previous to that one, every time I moved the Force, you instantly had it all the way back down.
Well, you know,
I couldn't move the Force.
You know what? One of the reasons is because there were no cards on me. I was buying the pilots, and I just kept exiling the pilots to move it back. So I had a ton of pilots that I could do that. Had there been other cards that I was buying out there, I probably couldn't have done that.
Right. Well, and the biggest problem too is in the last game I tried for a totally different tactics where I was buying nothing but neutral cards, and I really didn't have much in the way of moving the Force because there's just not a lot of neutral cards to move the Force.
But I know there's one, I can't remember the card, but I had it, and she was pretty good. She had some Force, and it was cool that if the Force was with her, she like got extra attack or something like that. Right. No. It was if there's other bounty hunters in the row, right? Attack. Anyway, what did you think of some of the individual cards in this game?
So one of the things, and this is one of the things that I thought was going to be a detriment to the game, but actually ends up being a plus.
Yeah,
is this list of bases.
Yeah.
Everybody has their starting base they got to start with. And the first couple times we played the original game, I'm like, why would you ever play some of these other bases? I didn't play the game enough, but I kept thinking, why would you play? So when we played this one on the first time, I'm thinking, okay, we'll play this one, then I'll play this base, and then I'm going to play this base. Well, the next time we played, I started thinking about it a little bit differently. And if you really pay attention and go through these different bases, you can actually have the bases go for you. They can work for you. Because the very last game we played, I mean, you get this killer card. It was like, I don't remember who it was. It wasn't Cad Bane, but it was somebody.
It was Hondo?
I think it was Hondo. Hondo. You buy Hondo, but at the same turn, you killed my base. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to play this card, take that card, stick it under. And it's my third base. You never got to play that card.
Yeah.
So it's actually really cool the way the bases can work for you for different strategies, and it doesn't break the game.
No.
It still keeps the game tight, and it still keeps the game interesting because both games I played as a separatist played entirely different.
Right.
And they were still very fun to play.
Yeah.
So
and and speaking of which, like we were both playing the one base in the things in the second game. We're playing, or maybe it was the first game, playing the one base where you get to just take a card for free, and we both got killer cards.
Oh yeah.
From that, I got that one Star Destroyer, Ventress class Star Destroyer that helped me there, and I think another time I got maybe that was the time I got Hondo.
I'd gotten Anakin the first game.
Yeah, I remember you got Anakin that way. So it's cool. But again, a lot of the individual cards are fun. I like I say, the troopers for the Republic Army work really well here. Mm-hmm. I like the Separatists have that card that, like, if there's more Republic cards in the Galaxy row than the Separatist card, they get an advantage. I think they get to move the Force or something like that. So there's a lot of really good individual cards in this game that there's a lot of surprises here, and they did a good job. And I was scared that essentially this was just going to be a reskin of the other one. The gameplay is almost exactly the same, but so what it comes down to is the cards, are they different enough? And I feel like you've got some really cool new abilities and ideas here. And speaking as someone who loves the original trilogy far more than the prequels. I like the prequels okay, but I like the original trilogy far more than the prequels. I was surprised at how much I really enjoyed this set. I thought I'd like it, and I really do. It's got some really fun stuff. At some point, maybe we will have to combine them and play around with them. I don't... I think there's enough difference that I probably want to hang on to both of them for the time being. Mm-hmm. I'll probably at some point maybe try to find a way to keep them all in one box, because I think you easily could.
Oh, very easily.
Yeah, very but just for space reasons. But yeah, it's so there's no reason to say you can only have one or the other, because then they both fit in one box. But anyway, that's good. One big criticism though is you've got the tokens again for the cubes or other for attack and resources, and the one for the Force. They didn't have a larger, like, 5 damage cube.
Correct.
Now, in my other version of Star Wars: The Deck Building game, I actually went out and bought 20-sided die, and I used them to keep track of hit points, because I hate just grabbing the thing, put them on there. I'll put them on there for the capital ships and stuff like that. But when it comes to the base, I just use a 20-sided die, because you're dealing with higher numbers, and you got to count it every time. It's like, okay, what am I at now? And you try to figure out what the other guy is. It's weak. They really needed a higher count of cube there. Mm-hmm. And like you say, maybe you should use a resource cube
Right,
for that.
and that's what I did in the last game because the resources we never really used the resource cubes.
Not a lot.
Very, very
Like
rarely. So
sometimes
I was using them for fives.
I used them once or twice when there's something that I felt I do need to keep track of. I don't want to lose that, so I would grab them. But that's about it. It's not like I'm creating a pool every time because again, that's just tedious. You can, for the most part, count it up like in any other game.
But no, I think the bigger, chunkier ones, or
so let me ask
the dice works.
Let me ask you: do you think this is a game you will buy?
Oh, hands down.
Are you even owning
Hands
the other
down.
one? You'll buy this one.
Hands down. Oh, totally. Yeah, and because I do foam core inserts,
Mhm.
I've already designed in my head a new insert.
Oh, really?
So I'll have the Clone Wars on one side. I'm gonna have I'll have both sides separated out easily. So because I want to play this 2v2, I really want to try to play it that way. I love playing competitive games, but as a team.
The team games,
so
I do too.
I really want to try it. There's room in the box to do it. Hands down, I'll be getting this.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate Star Wars: The Deck Building Game Clone Wars Edition?
Honestly, I put the game about an 8.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it about a solid 8. I will never turn this game down. I will play this game anytime somebody asks me to. I got to remember sometimes in my head I keep forgetting the icons, and I mean they're so small, but I like the different aspects of the game. I like how we played 3 times tonight, and I played 3 totally different strategies every single time we played, and it still came down to that last turn of the game.
Yeah.
Didn't really matter, and it kept the game fresh. It kept the game new. To me, this is a game that I'm going to get out at the beginning of the game night. I'm going to get out at the end of the game night. It's not going to be my game night game.
Yeah,
This is perfect for.
Well, because it's only 20, 30 minutes.
It is,
right?
I mean, we played 3 games in almost no time at all. But yeah, this is something I'm going to end the night with. And it's a great game for that. Everybody goes home, but one other guy, boom, Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Or the regular deck building.
Right.
Hands down. It's a great game for that.
I agree with you. I think I'm kind of wavering between an 8 or an 8.5. I'll probably conservatively say 8 right now, but I think that it'll probably go up for me. I can't see it going down from an 8. It's super fun. And I got to tell you, when the original came out last year, I was frankly surprised at how much I liked it. And I was saying this to Ray earlier. Fantasy Flight back in the day was producing some great, just consistently the best stuff. And they're kind of going in some other directions now, and I just was not expecting to like this game as much as I do. One other little thing, though, as much as I like this game and this version, I still kind of want to see an expansion to the original one that brings in Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Emperor. There's still room for that, and I'm kind of heartened that they put this out because it's still on their radar and they're still making it. And it's such a good game. I have to tell you, I am not a fan of the Disney sequels films. But if they made a version of this with that, I'd be sorely tempted to check it out because it's such a good game, and the game's the thing. All right. Any other thoughts, comments, anything else you want to add here?
Nope, I'm going to agree with you 100%. Both of these have so much room for expansion. It's absolutely unreal. They've got 2 main games out right now. Put out some small card expansions for them.
Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, even just small little decks that you can add into it.
I mean, they do it for the LCGs all the time. There's no reason they couldn't add 60 cards for this, 60 cards for the other one, and then put out another one.
I'd be first in line, man. That'd be great.
Pre-order.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us here on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please, like us here on YouTube, leave a comment, like us on Board Game Geek, leave a comment there. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, all that goodness. I'd ask you to check out my other channel, Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history, books on history, fun things like that. And if you are a big fan of the content we provide here, I would humbly ask you to click on the Super Thanks button and leave a tip. How exactly did Mace die in the Star Wars prequels?
I don't know.
Through a window.